Welcome to the Trading Lounge and the Forex report, and starting with the US dollar index here. A couple of points here. The main point is that we are looking for the top of wave 5 here, okay? And that actually may already be in place just here. So we're just going to work through this a little bit. And obviously this is going to reflect back in other pairs as well. So in a nutshell, we've got wave 3, wave 4, and we've got wave 5 here. We're looking for 5 waves through here. And I'm also a little bit mindful that this particular correction across wave 4 here may not be counted right. We may have to put wave 1 here, wave 2 into here, and 3 here, 4 here, and 5 here to suit this here. But I just want to show you and work through this anyway. So one of the first points that we need to come up with is that we need to look at is that wave 5 can be completed here. Okay, starting from this wave 1 here and wave 2, all of wave 3 that we've been counting up, wave 4 and wave 5 here completed. Yes, wave 5 is a bit small, but so is wave 1. So if the extension's in wave 3, then 1 and 5 will be roughly the same. Just drilling into that a little bit further here is that this is sort of how it looks, and we need to sort of look at it like this. But you know, wave 5 did make a new high above wave 3 here, but I'm not totally convinced, because it does appear that it's up here in 3 waves, which would either have to put wave 4 here and then wave 5 here, and that's fine. But I do think that we should be looking at this in just a bit of a larger pattern here as wave 4 here and wave 5 here. So another session, and we'll have this you know, a better idea of what's actually sort of going on here. Yeah, but you know, we need to be, just going back over things, we just need to be mindful that, you know, wave 5 could be in play here, but we'll still need another session to sort it out. But if wave 5 is here, then we're going to see a turn in most of the other, you know, the pairs as such, the, you know, the euros and the pounds against this particular currency. So this basket of currencies rather, but the euro's kind of the heaviest weight in all of this, the old D mark, so to speak. So with that in mind, we need to look at the euro US dollar. So all things said and done, it's possible that a low's in place here, okay, and we can work higher from this, but I'm just going to work it up as a wave 4, and yeah, and that's that. So we had this move up through here, which was can be counted as wave A. Now, even though that wave B came lower through here, it's never really given us 5 waves to the downside as such. It's only given us 3. So it actually counts better as a well, an A wave to here or to here, a B to here, and then there's 5 waves in here. Yes, it's possible that we could put the wave B here and wave C here and wave 4 here and wave 5 here and have that low in place here. So that's also possible as well. It does open up a sort of variation, but I think I think what we need to do is we need to take the most conservative view of it all, and that means that yes, we're still in a downtrend, and this can just be a corrective rally, and we need to view it like that until proven otherwise, because we don't, and proof or evidence is an impulse wave to the upside. And also too, we'd want to find a nice tested support on least at 108 here. So this market can fade at the midpoint here, this 50 here, or 65, as I've been mentioning over the last month or so, carries a lot of weight, and I just wanted to bring people's attention to that. So I'm going to keep doing that in all sorts of markets as well. So when you see that 65, you'll become aware of it. Look, the main thing here is that we know the euros, can be weak, and the pound is quite weak at the moment too, but overall the pound is much stronger. So if you're going to trade long, you might be looking at one of the pound crosses, so a main point here though is looking at 5 waves moving up through to here, because it can fail after those 5 waves because of this A, possible B here, and then a C wave here. So and fade from that point. So that's one thing. In terms of actually trading and a possible move to the upside, when these 5 waves complete somewhere, above or just below the 50 here, then have a look for a corrective pattern. Now, once the corrective pattern is finished, or if it finishes, it might just move straight down through to here. But if it can climb itself back onto the midpoint here and find support, then you'll have yourself a reference point and you can move through it like that there. But it's quite important that this actually completes here, this little 5 wave structure here completes, and then any long trade can have this here as support here, and then that will get us out of a certain amount of trouble. So looking at, well, wave A here, for instance, and then we look at wave B with an A and a ABC for the B wave here, and then we've got 5 waves down here for wave C, and we had this as B here, and we had this point here as an alternative count yesterday as wave B here, and that's playing out. So we need to look at wave C here, and wave C being in 5 waves. That's 5 waves to this point here, wave 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 here. I think that this, if I can just open this up a little bit here, we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to here, and it's got a new high here. So it is viable to put that wave 3 there. But I just think that move up there looks like a B wave and this like a C wave. So I'm thinking that this has just got to have another move up here for wave 3 here, and wave 4 will be here, and then wave 5 to this point here. And it is this subtle 65 number, or the midpoint here, that's going to be it's going to be the important one, because this is where it basically can fail or move higher from, and if we do get this 5 waves up off this low here, and then get that, from this area here, get this A, B, and C that can pull back 50 or 60%, if we can see that it's corrective, and then we see, moves to the upside here, well, then we'll look to go long for the, for the longer term, or at least up to 108 and so forth. So it's something that we need to work through. It's something that we're working through yesterday. We know that the US dollar index is going to stall at 100 and create a turn for the other markets. So we just want to find out if that US dollar index is actually going to push higher or will fall into a larger correction at the 100. That's really the catalyst for everything. So that's what we really need to sort of focus on. So, with the other markets, we're kind of talking about the same story, really, from a move up here. The Australian market, we're looking at wave 4 here, and then we're simply looking at 5 waves to the downside. Okay, and I don't think that we have them just yet. I think that we're sort of somewhere like this here. So there's a few different ways to count this, but I've just been counting it this way, and we can move down from from this point here. One of the ways to look to short this, or to be on the short side or the long side, is just this 1 hour chart, simple trend line through here. If this trend line becomes the resistance, if this market moves through here, then comes back up and retests it here, then you'll use this as your reference point here, and you'll make new lows below here at that stage, okay? But while it's above that trend line, I'd be very careful, because this here looks bullish corrective here, even though that this looks a corrective pattern here, and we should work lower from this point here. This one here, it's not really confirming that. This one here is confirming a new high above here. So I just want to see how it goes. So that trend line there as resistance would be the short trade setup, and just on the 15-minute chart here, it works nicely from those two, which I always find very important, and then it's working nicely through here. The move up through here so far, it's kind of sluggish in a way, isn't it? And what I mean by that is that this move came down here and sort of touched those tops, so to speak. Yeah, eventually found support. This move up here has come back and it's overlapping these tops here. So it's kind of creeping in a way, which is weakness. But we need to confirm that weakness, because even this move here is in 3 waves, isn't it? That's bullish corrective so far. So if that found support on top of that, if that move, let me readdress that comment. That first of all, we've got the same thing over here. We've got the 65 number. We've got the midpoint here. So the 50 is important here, right? So you ask yourself, is that midpoint 55, the second strongest number, is that support yet? And you would say no, but it's not finished with it yet. If this market comes up here and creates a little high here and then sort of moves up here, and so then you got your reference. In fact, you got this as your reference point here. Then you would move your reference point down to here. You may get a smaller one here, but you are looking for support, tested support on 50. If you get it, then you can trade long from that point. And all I'm saying is that this so far is in 3 waves, so that makes it bullish corrective, and we should move up from there. However, if for some reason we get this corrective move, this move here, because it normally comes back and retests the trend line there, and if it fails from that point, then you look to go short from that point. So the count is to the downside, but with the US dollar index pulling back, and it will depend on the commodity markets as well. So check your base metals and precious metals and commodities, and see where the pressure is there. So the count is down, but support on 50 is a signal to go up. So you'll need to be on that side of it. And the same sort of story with most of the other markets as well, as you'll see. Now, with all of them, maybe the pound yen, I've gone a bit more bullish, because I know that there's a bigger possibility there for that. And but as it stands with this pound Aussie and Euro Aussie and Euro Yen, we're still looking at them as corrective rallies. Okay, so I would draw my attention to, if the 95 here, which is the closest largest number, we would expect to bounce off the top of group 1, number 3 here, 1, 2, and 3, group 1, top of group 1, always bounce. So if we found support back on 95, then we'll turn bullish from that point. But as it stands, I'm just looking at this as a corrective pattern to the upside. And I think that I'm on the right track there too, because all of this pattern that we're looking at just here is actually overlapping wave structures. So I feel that this is an A and a B and a C wave that can move up. And hey, look, it might extend with the general consensus of the market, but allow that to happen. But if we, like I said, if we get a really nice test of support on 95, well, then I don't have a problem in going long. We can do that. But to go long before that is a little bit dangerous unless you're scalping. So as I mentioned, the sort of move off the 93 here, or the 3, the top of group 1, you can see that you could probably squeeze a count out of it in terms of a bit lucky. It is corrective, so we've got this as an A wave and a B wave, and we're looking for 5 waves up here for the C wave up here at the 38.2 retracement where it is now. Yes, it could go a little bit higher here, and I wasn't quite sure of the count. I could see it on the 2-minute chart here. I could see we got 1 and 2 here, and we got 5 waves up for 3 and 4 here, and then we're looking for 5 wherever it completes up there. This little pattern here is corrective, so it will come back on 94 and then move up from there as well and create another high, and I'll have to pull all this apart. So it can go, it can go higher, and this third wave that I'm looking at here, it might be a case of, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here just for the top of the third wave, and then the fourth coming into play here, and then the fifth coming up through to here somewhere finishing. So as always, you need a setup, a signal, and here we've got the arrival, the reaction, and then we're finding this is actually getting support here. Now, in terms of actually trading, you've just used your reference point. So your old high is the reference point here. So a move up above that would put us on track. Just move these out of the way. Sorry about that. However, if I can just open this up a little bit here. So this does look like a bit of a corrective pattern here, and it's slowing down into this sort of area here. But if we get another little high here, in terms of, let's just say this goes down through to here and then comes back up through to here, then you've got a reference point here. So you can get a lower reference point. So you're always looking for lower reference points all the time, okay, but then taking those out there. So we are at the 38.2 retracement level here. So just right on here. So, we'll see that reaction come from there. The Euro Aussie. Now, the Euro's weaker than the other one, so I suggest not trading this one long. But if there was a retracement here, which off the 30, normally when you've got a whole number here, the first level below it, the first minor level or whatever is number 8. So if there's going to be a bounce from a retest of the closest largest on 40, it will come from the 8, and that's what's occurring now. So we just need to monitor that to the upside. But like I said, this is not and we were looking at a bounce yesterday for this from memory. So, it's not that, it's not going to be a strong move up here for this one. So there would be better markets for this. The Euro Yen, once again, we're looking for a low here, and this was also difficult to count too. Not so much all of this down here, but all this top here. I wasn't sure where to take the first move down from, because the upside here is wave 4 never really completed. It could be this one over here. So it was a bit difficult to start counting the 1s and 2s here. I wouldn't turn bullish in this market unless we had 130 as a nice tested support. So in the meantime, it can just come up to the 130 and drop from there, and that would also be in line with whatever the other markets do, and this also refers back to the US dollar index. So, if we do have a low in for these markets, then we need to find the closest, largest number and wait for support and get that confirmation of support, and then we can move in long for the longer term. Okay, so there is risk at this point in the junction here. So once again, I can count it down as a completed scenario here, and this can certainly be a wave 1 moving to the upside and ABC for wave 2 and here. But our main point is that we need to get past this possible C wave here. We need to see a corrective move here, because if we see a corrective move here and can confirm that, then we know that this high here will be taken out and we can move from that point there. But I really want to be up here, not I don't want to be going long in these things, unless you're scalping, of course. That's a different thing. And yesterday we were looking, counting the 5 waves down here for completion. So it is building nicely here, and it would build here the same as the euro here in terms of wave 1 here, wave 2 here, and we're looking at wave 3 here. Now wave 3 can be to here in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But as I mentioned, this little thing in here on the euro looks like a wave B here. So I think that we may get to here and push up here. So a little bit further to go just yet, but yeah. The pound yen, we were looking at this as weakness yesterday, but now we need to look at it as strength. And one of the reasons for that is that the move down from this high here, forget the labeling, so to speak, for a moment, but that move down from here down to here is in 3 waves in these rough 3 waves here. So the move back to 180 here can be wave 4 and then wave 5 down. Okay, so that could be there. But at the same time, because the move down is in 3 waves, it can be bullish corrective. So it can be just an A and a B and a C down to this point here, and then move up from that point. Once again, 180 is the closest, largest number. So we would want to see support, tested support on that before going long. It's as simple as that. Okay, so yes, and trading above it is not support. So don't get that in your mind. It's got to trade above and create the first high above the level, then a corrective pattern, and in 3 waves at minimum, and then finding support on that 80 there. You know, because it could do something just like it's done here. You know, retest it, failed, and move down. So we need to be mindful of both sides of the market, and that 180 is support and resistance is basic stuff. Yes, I know, but it works well, and we just use we don't want to go off Elliott totally by itself. We want to use the Elliott. We want to use support and resistance and use Elliott to confirm a direction. So it can count down like this here, 5 waves for an A, B, and a C wave here. So it can finish. One of the other points here too is that the wave C should normally be on more of an angle than wave A. So wave A is normally the sharp one. Wave C is normally the one on the sort of angle, slowing it down. But this is not the case here, is it? So this has got more like a third wave price activity here. So yeah. So but anyway, we'll see how we go with that. But just pointing out how it can count to the downside. And it's likely to hit, you know, after the 80 here, the 1 is the strongest number in the market, and 5 is the second. So 180, 50, the midpoint here is also important. But normally you would see something move, you know, in this range here, and then, you know, find its support here, and then move up from here. So a reaction from this level here. In terms of counting it to the upside, yeah, a slightly different count here than the other ones, but that's okay. It counts up as, I pulled this apart on a 5-minute chart, so it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for wave 1, back for wave 2. There are 5 waves to this point here. There is an A and a B and a C to here, and then there is the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th for the 3rd. And if it's going to fail, this will be it here at wave 3, which will be the alternative wave C. So we're at the 180. So you can see that in one way or another, we have to find the 180 as support. So it's going to take a session to do that. And yeah, so a little bit of patience will save a loss. Not that a loss is a big deal, it's part of the process, but the problem with the loss is not the loss itself, it's just the time it takes to recover those numbers. All right, cheers.